So we all go into the cage trying to make MMA highlights. We try to do a big throw, submit a guy, KO the guy. But what happens when you're the highlight? What happens when you're the one getting tapped out, choked out, put to sleep, knocked out, cold? A highlight reel that you want to make yourself, but sadly, you're that guy being finished. How do you react? What do you do? And how do you push forward from there? Check it out. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Inside Team Shorty Season 2, where I talk about the reality, the truth, and everything behind the scenes of the sport of MMA. This one, we're talking about getting KO'd. Submitted, tapped out, finished in a fight. Everyone obviously goes out there trying to make a highlight reel. I can tell you, you look at any of my YouTube videos, my fights on UFC Fight Pass, and now I'm Brave, I have a fair share of highlights, and my coach would tell me, hey, if this fighter's not that good, let's make a highlight reel. That's awesome. We used to have a blast. But what happens when you're the highlight reel? How do you react? Because honestly, you do this sport long enough, it's gonna happen to you. And the reason why I bring up this video is I sponsor fighters through my Team Shorty Foundation, and you know, I had a fighter go in there, and I'm not gonna state his name, but he went in there and got KO'd, and honestly, he got probably KO'd in one of the worst ways. It was a really good highlight for the other guy, and that's something I told my fighter when he was really conscious and asked me, hey man, what happened in there? You got knocked out. And you know, the first question he asked was, did it look bad? Because the biggest thing is, we're prideful people. You know, we're warriors. We don't want to be embarrassed. And one of the most embarrassing things is to be a highlight reel all over ESPN or all these MMA podcasts or all over YouTube or whatever the case may be. And it sucks. But you have to remember, if you do the sport long enough, it's bound to happen. And I told him, I go, it was a damn good highlight for the guy. It was it was a good one. And he broke down crying in pain because it's emotional. And the thing is, it's something I try to help him cope with. I go, hey man, I just want to give you my personal experience and what you can do to push forward. Because at the time I won my Brave debut. I had 8 months to mentally prepare myself to, you know, for the weight cut, as we saw in my last video. But what if I get knocked out again? What if I get TKO'd like I did? What if I get tapped out for the first time? What if just overall I get finished? How am I going to accept that? Having 2 straight losses in a row, which I've never had in my career. Honestly, and I go, my last fight, I got TKO'd. Out of 22 years of MMA experience, it's never happened to me. Not once has it happened to me. But this one time it comes into play and I get TKO'd, and for me, it was in the worst fashion possible. I like to brawl. I like to put on a show, and I didn't brawl. I didn't try. And I got knocked out silly. In my body, I took 107 shots. 107 shots to the head in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm surprised I'm not brain dead, and you never know. It might happen later on in my life. But I was a highlight reel. I was all over ESPN. I was all over YouTube and MMA podcasts. And that guy is still living off the hype, which it sucks. And there's nothing I can do about it. What's done is done. And I think that's the biggest thing we all have to remember. And that's something I told him. I go, hey man, what's done is done. Sometimes you're making the highlights, and sometimes you are the highlight. But you have to look at it as well as, luckily for him, because he is a very skilled athlete and fighter, you've only been KO'd once. That happens. You've only been KO'd once out of 20 years of MMA experience. That's a pretty good stat there. That is pretty damn good. It's like saying you struck out once in 20 years of baseball. You know how hard that is? Like, that's... Dude, you're fighting people who are trying to knock you out, who are training to knock you out. submit you, finish you in every single way possible. And that's happened once to you in 20 years. It sucks, and it honestly sucks at this moment, mainly because of suspension. You want to get back in it, your pride is broken, but it happened. And it might happen again. That's the reality of the sport. If you're going in there trying to knock someone out, what do you think he's trying to do to you? It's part of the sport, and it's something you accept when you sign the contract. And honestly, as you get better in your career, as you become more popular, more successful, you're going to fight more talented people. That's part of it. I think it'd be really dumb if you start fighting just bums off the street. That makes no sense. Unless you see some fights that are lined up and you're just like, all right, whatever, man. But bad things are going to happen to you. That's life. But it's how you come back up, the whole Rocky theme. It's how you come back up and keep pushing forward. And it's honestly, it's true. And I love Rocky. It's an amazing, I love it. But is it going to hurt you right now for months? Yes. It hurt me for 8 months, and honestly, it still hurts me today. And it's what drives me to keep pushing forward. My first loss as an amateur, I lost by decision, a split decision, which is horrible. 6 years after that, I still think about that today. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. But honestly, if it wasn't for that loss in that fashion, I wanted to push through and had 33 straight wins. Then after 33 straight wins, I got TKO'd. Took 107 shots to the head. That happens. It sucked, but it happens. But I won my last fight. And there was a mental gap that I really had to shorten, thin out, and really push through to win my last fight. And again, we saw my last episode where I talked about weight cutting and all the struggles that I had. And it was actually the worst weight cutting week I've ever had. So many hoops I had to jump through, and it's ridiculous. But I pushed through because I had 8 months to prepare myself mentally. I mean, there were so many coaches I had to thank because of it, because it really is a mental sport. If you're not in there 100% mentally, your body isn't going to do anything. And you're going to get KO'd every single time you go in there. For me, I did my thing. I won my last fight, and I pushed through mentally. And I know I got the skills, and I'm never going to doubt myself. But it is a tough thing to go through. For all you people that have been KO'd, submitted, finished, know that this is part of the sport. You're either the highlight or you're making the highlights. It's how it works, how it runs, how it is. Nothing you can do about it. But obviously train your ass off to make sure you're creating the highlight reels. You're becoming the Anderson Silva, Demetrius Johnson, George St. Pierre, whoever you want to call yourself and compare yourself to. But you have to know that this stuff is part of the sport. Fix yourself mentally, accept the fact, and keep pushing forward. Guys, if there's stuff mentally that you want me to talk about, please leave in the comments below. But how do you, if you have been finished in the sport or are afraid of being finished in that fashion, tell me. Leave in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. And let me know if you have, been finished in any sort of way, how you've coped with it and how well you've done on your return. Because honestly, because you've been KO'd doesn't mean you're going to get KO'd again. Will it happen? Maybe. You never know. But you have to try, man. You have to try to keep on achieving your goals and keep pushing forward. Never give up. I mean, I know people, actually a female athlete that I used to train with that lost, I believe her record was 1-11, being finished multiple times too. She never gave up. Her record is 14-12 right now. Is it the best record in the world? No. But she was 1-11. To come back and make it 14-12 is, and given I'm pretty sure the stats are wrong there, but it's around that, it's ridiculous. You won that many from losing so much to keep pushing forward after being finished multiple times. Good for you. That's good for you. But guys, let me know in the comments below what you think. How have you coped with it? How have you pushed forward? And please like, share, support this video. Again, teamshorty.com, selling all the apparel. 100% of the proceeds go to kids and young adults to stay in the gym and off the streets. And I appreciate all love and support. Team Shorty Foundation is trying to help people and push forward as well. And just thank you. Jose Shorty Torres on my Instagram, Jose Shorty Torres MMA on my Facebook, Shorty Torres 125 on my Twitter, teamshorty.com for all the apparel. And just, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate all love and support. And until next time.